Welcome to another episode of Move to Improve here with Dr. Matt Jurgis. Hello, Matt.
Hello.
And I'm super excited to have a very close friend of mine with us today. She is the executive director of Calgary Canoe Club and all-around amazing lady. Lynda Roberts, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's nice to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thanks for the opportunity.
Yeah, so we're just Matt and I were talking about what should we talk about, because I know what I want to talk about. I want to talk about Calgary Canoe Club. You perhaps have like the best job in the whole city that nobody knows about. Like, how many people in the summer months get to kayak to work, right? And you go into the facility, the Calgary Canoe Club facility, and that top floor there's that little hall or open space there, and the windows overlook the Glenmore reservoir and downtown. It's unbelievable, right?
Agreed.
Oh man, it is. I couldn't believe when I went down there how beautiful it is, and people can rent kayaks and canoes and go into Weaselhead, and oh man,
Yeah, it's a gem for sure.
it is pretty amazing. So I am so happy to have you here, and we're going to talk all about rowing today. Just kidding. So
Good one.
for those that don't know, Lynda and I have had a long history of just bantering back and forth, and I always bug her about rowing, but Calgary Canoe Club, it is paddling, not rowing. There's a massive difference between the two, and I'm going to get her to explain it. But Matt, what did you want to talk about today?
I think you nailed some big points there. For sure, rowing and and you went on a trip recently, right, Lynda?
I did.
I did. Well, we could talk
I
about
don't think
that
we should
as
stay
well.
all tanned up and everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, then let's just kind of. So Lynda and I have a pretty long history. Proactive Health Group has done lots of work with Calgary Canoe Club, doing functional movement exams and really what we call physical literacy. So basically, getting their athletes to move more efficiently, more productively, so to reduce injury risk and to enhance performance and so on and so forth. But we'll get into that. But the first, it seems like Calgary Canoe Club is this gem that is super successful. You guys are, pardon me, are flying in this summer. But like when I talk to people, nobody really knows about it, right? But the people that know about it, like 1,000% advocate. So I would love for you to tell the viewers, everybody, just what's Calgary Canoe Club?
Sure.
That's a big question, I think.
Big question. So we are located on the Glenmore Reservoir, and we're part of a city-owned facility, Glenmore Canoe and Rowing Clubhouse. So if you look out on the reservoir, you're going to see a ton of boats out there. You've got the sailors, you've got the rowers, and the rowers are the guys that go backwards, so you can kind of pick them out. And then pretty much every other craft on the water there are paddlers. You're going to see dragon boat, you're going to see kayakers, the sprint canoe kayak, outrigger canoes, recreation canoes, recreation kayaks, so many disciplines. We started in 1959 on the reservoir, and then in 1982 the city built that big, beautiful blue building. So again, really fortunate to have a facility like that right in the middle of the city. And I mean, you say people don't know about it, but you know, we're out there. We work with school board groups.
Maybe it's just me.
Community summer groups, maybe. However, I will say that with COVID, so many other programs were cut back, and we were definitely one of the fortunate groups that were able to continue on with our programs, and we were so busy. Like our just canoe rentals to the public skyrocketed. So I think people are aware of it. It's just there's a lot of opportunity in the city to do other activities, right? So, but we're pretty established in the community with our programs there.
So you work a lot with school groups. So part of the physical education programs for, say, junior high, high school, they, as part of their curriculum, will bring classes down, and you will do instruction on paddling and take them out in canoes and outriggers and whatnot. Is that right?
Yeah, correct. So we're open May through October. We've got a 6 months window there where we can be operating on the reservoir. So spring and fall, schools come down. I mean, that's going to be part of our business. And then in the summer, things are really ramped up with all of our summer day camp kind of programs. But in the meantime, we're operating year round with all our high performance groups, you know, specifically sprint canoe kayak.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit more about that. So we have that recreational side, right? And people can rent kayaks and canoes, and you bring down schools and kids from schools as part of their curriculum and teach them and get them out there. So talk about the other side of it, youth and adult, the
yeah.
competitive side.
Yeah, so I've been involved with the club for quite a while. We were pretty, I felt, kind of spread wide open. We were doing whitewater kayaking and all this kind of stuff, and we really had to sort of narrow down our niche a little bit. We are on the reservoir. It's a small body of water. It's flat water. Sprint canoe kayak was one of the first programs that started there. So we did narrow that focus a little bit. So that's really kind of our foundation is youth programs, and bringing kids in just at a recreation level, learn to paddle day camps, and then hopefully getting them to, you know, moving to the sprint canoe kayak program, just like any other competitive sport, soccer, hockey, what it may be, and it's a year-round program for the athletes that, you know, want to develop into an elite kind of level.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually a little bit curious about then in the winter the kind of dry land training that goes on.
Yeah, great question, and that to me is a real opportunity to do the cross training. I think it's a little bit of a blessing in disguise actually that we're not on the water for 12 months. So the facility itself, we're really fortunate. It did have one of the first indoor paddling tanks, so we could get in there. A lot of the kids prefer getting on the ergometers nowadays, similar to a rowing ergometer. You can get a canoe ergometer or a kayak ergometer. I use them with my adults for the outrigger program as well. We have some small weight rooms in the club that you've seen. We set one up almost like a little CrossFit gym, you know, more gymnastics rings and bars and so much functional activity we can do in there. And then the kids also participate in swimming and running. My group specifically, the outrigger people I look at, it's more adult based, so I just encourage them really to get outside and move, and we do hiking and snowshoeing and cross-country skiing, so strength training, great opportunity. I think everybody should get back into the winter, get balanced out a little bit more, you know, and do a lot of mobility work and moving, but yeah, full-on winter program for sure.
Absolutely, good time to work out the kinks in your paddling.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know they want to get on the ergometers, but it's super cool to see that training tank, though, right?
Yeah.
You know, you go in there and you can actually paddle inside against, you know, it's like a little mini pool type thing, right? That you're in. Yeah, it's pretty neat.
That's sweet.
Do you guys still use it? Do you use that much?
We do. The rowers use it a little bit more than we do.
Yeah.
But we do, and it's a good option during the season as well for a coach to go in there and you know, poor weather days or whatever, and just for the kids to feel the water, move the water. So,
Yeah, and you can be right on the edge, right next to them, giving them instruction on technique.
And the balance component of it too. You know, we can have them like kneeling on a sit fit or whatever it may be. So great tool. Yeah.
That is pretty cool. That is pretty cool.
Yeah.
What else did you want to ask her?
So,
Before we talk about her tan, by the way.
so coming in, what do you think the biggest mistake people make going into paddling, getting into a sport like this?
Oh, Matt, no mistakes getting into
There's no
paddling.
mistake as far as technique-wise, like is there?
Yeah, so I think if we were to back it up, I'd probably say why I think it's such a great sport for kids is because it starts with basic coordination and agility, and you can be successful right out of the get-go. You don't need to be some big, strong person or have this huge, you know, aerobic capacity, you know. So that's why I think it's so good for kids. Get them working on fundamentals, how to move properly and develop coordination, and once that kind of clicks for them, they get in a boat and away they go. So I have to remember those lessons for my adults that, you know, the big guys that come in and they just want to muscle it, right? I'm going to get in a boat beside them and just move by them, because movement efficiency and technique and just relaxing, working with the water, that's the key.
Yeah, absolutely.
Then we'll develop strength, then we'll develop endurance.
Right.
You get into some of those single canoes there and you try and balance them, see how that goes for you.
Yeah, exactly.
My son Bennett got into one, he just like, and I would say he's pretty fit, right? Like, and he's pretty balanced, pretty strong, core stable. Yeah. And he got in that, and he did really well. He made about 5 seconds before he fell over into the water, right?
Yeah, it's just connecting those dots, right? But and again, that's where you guys come in, because it's this mobility and stability, and then building strength on top of that. You know, it's
I love the youth programs, but I think it's super cool that you have these master's programs, right? Because that's who we kind of see here at the clinic, right? So you
Yeah,
see all
more
the,
so, yeah.
you know, we see people joining, and you guys, you train here. Level of fitness is irrelevant getting into it.
Yeah.
Previous skill set is irrelevant getting into it.
Yeah, well, I'm just looking around because, like, you know, the motto, sorry, that you have on the wall is like,
Yeah, healthier together for life, right?
sure, and
Yeah.
move like you're in your
Yeah,
40s. When
live in
you're
your
at
80s like your 40s.
That is us.
It's amazing.
We
And to see the
literally have-
transformation that these people go through when they're, you know,
100%,
when they're
right.
joining this program.
Yeah, our members are literally from the age of 9 to 80. I have 80-year-olds participating at a world level event. And our older guys in our club are the fastest guys in the world. It's phenomenal. They'll go compete against Hawaii, New Zealand, Tahiti, and they're on the podium. My 7-year-old guys are. It's great.
So Matt, talking to Lynda, we talk about these trips that she takes, whether or not it's to Cook Islands or Fiji, Tahiti, Hawaii, Florida, like all these wonderful places, right? And just, you know, here's everybody just, we're just going to go and do this competition out here. And we want to do our best, but I mean, you care, but you don't care, right? It's the experience of going. So I've negotiated with her that we're going to take a medical team when she goes to Fiji or Tahiti or Cook Islands, right? So we can take care of the team there.
Oh yeah.
Does that work?
It's for them, eh?
Yeah. I mean, it's going to be hard on us, right? Because, you know, it's a long way to travel and, you know, we have to work, but, you know, I think we can probably pull it off. What do you think? Good?
We can figure something out.
I mean, I really lucked into that scenario, but I think going back to the kids, like I was a late starter. I was in high school, and a lot of our kids start when they're 12, 13, 14, but just the opportunity for those kids to travel, like within Canada.
Yeah.
Like now it's pretty big down east, so, you know, go to Toronto, go to Ottawa, go to Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, like just for the national competitions. Our kids go to training camp in Florida every year. So just the opportunity.
Which reminds me,
they
where
get
are you
to
going
travel.
next week?
Maybe Florida.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
That
so-
certainly is a draw, I'm sure, for a lot of young people. All people is just being out there on the water. There's a mental health component of that.
Yeah.
It's just that absolute peace that you can kind of find yourself in when you're getting into a trance and you're just in gorgeous, nature.
Well, I want to go back to the Florida thing in a sec, but I have so you can either competitively, recreationally, you can become a member of Calgary Canoe Club, right? So you pay your annual membership, relatively expensive, to join Calgary Canoe Club, and then you can take out a kayak and canoe anytime you want, or your own, or whatever, right? Store it there. I have so many patients that would, in the summertime, take a kayak out before, like 6 in the morning, right? So it's July, sun's coming up, and it's 6 in the morning, and they go for a kayak out in the Glenmore reservoir, and there's like nobody out there. Oh my gosh, like just the thought of that is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's insane. So how does that work? Unfortunately, I'm not a member. I probably should be. But when you become a member, do you get kind of free reign? How does that process work? Can you just bring your own kayak in?
Right, so membership, we just start at a basic recreation level, and just like Dr. Greg said, is so they have access to canoes and kayaks with a recreation membership, and that's exactly what they're looking for. People just want to get out,
That's
and
serenity.
be on the water, go for a cruise, like paddle up to that Weaselhead area. It's a gem, right?
Yeah.
So I think the majority of our rec members, that's what they're looking for. And then we have the other components with our competitive programs. So the kids that are our members are going to join the Sprint Canoe Kayak program and come down and get, really great coaching team that we have. And so they're going to be looked after all season, get out, get in their workouts. And then same with my outrigger guys, we're going to run specific workouts, but a lot of them, those are the guys, they want to come at 6 o'clock in the morning and in the evening and just go for a cruise and enjoy themselves. And not all of them want to race, they just want to be on the water. It's just a good, like you said, be outdoors, healthy activity.
With your youth competitive group, the Sprint Canoe Kayakers. So how many times a week are they training?
Well, the high performance kids, they're getting in their 9-10 workouts. Like these are elite kids. We'll have kids like, training for junior national worlds, and this is the thing about being in Calgary. Again, we're on the water May through October, and yet they're in Montreal end of May, for national team trials. So hence,
Yeah.
getting on the water early, going down to Florida, just getting in that on water time. I mean, the winter training program's excellent, but I mean, nothing beats the actual on water time.
Yeah.
So.
And you can't get like the reservoir probably doesn't thaw until late April, early May, right?
Correct. Yeah,
And you're not getting on it, are you?
yeah, where it's a city bylaw, but mid-May has been a number of times when the ice comes off. So I mean, we it's part of life for us. Really, we do what we
Yeah.
can. But those early season training camps are fantastic. With the outrigger guys, I did. We sort of have a second home in Maui. Again, very fortunate for that. We have boats there, so I did a training camp 10 years in a row. Going to Maui prior to COVID coming in. So we'll get back to that, but they love to get on the water, and I mean, who doesn't want a vacation in the off season too there? So
Yeah.
win-win.
Okay, so Florida, you're going next week. Who are you taking? How long are you going for? What are you doing?
Yeah, so we'll head down. Pretty important. The athletes have their own equipment, so we do need to transport our own equipment down there. So I'll just do the drive down with my head coach, Mike Robinson. And then we'll have some of the older elite athletes come down, and it's really open to all the kids in the club, and just based on what level they're at, they're going to come for a 2-week camp, a 4-week camp, a 6-week camp. The kids that need to be at team trials, I know coach wants them on the water a little bit longer than that, so they're just going to come in and out, and great opportunity for all our other senior coaches to come down and coach their own groups. But, a lot of them are in university right now, so they'll come down and do, 2 to 3 week stints each. So, yeah.
Whereabouts in Florida?
Orlando area, kind of right up by Cape Canaveral. So a really good location. We've kind of got this little resort all to ourselves, all of the canals. So we'll have the coach boats there, really safe water to train in, and pretty secluded actually. So perfect location.
Tough. I don't know how you do it.
I know.
Right? It's rough.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, perks of the job. Hey, and I don't take it for granted. I love my job. I'm really fortunate. I know that. So.
And you know what? We're fortunate to be working with you guys too. I really like the athletes that you have there, and they really tend to engage in the that physical literacy piece that we really promote. So it's been a good fit for us.
Okay, and thanks. I want to thank you guys, because if I knew what I knew now, when I was an athlete, I probably wouldn't have these lingering old injuries that I've learned to, adapt and change my technique a little bit. So, I really appreciate everything I've learned from you guys. And as a coach, when I come in with an athlete and I get to watch you work with them, sometimes I think I get more out of it than the athlete does, learning what sort of their limitations are, what they need to work on. And you guys have been fantastic. And I mean, I would encourage all our kids to come down and do that whole, scan. Physical,
doing the functional movement exam, and
functional movement. It's such an important educational piece for
any athlete. The one thing, certainly. So we've had the opportunity now to work. Proactive has had the opportunity to work with a number of different sports, and to engage in these functional movement exams with the various players of each sport, whether it's soccer, or hockey, or whatever. Canoe kayak has its own unique movement pattern, breakdowns, deficiencies, impairment, and soccer has its own unique breakdowns, and hockey has its own unique. Interesting for canoe kayak, it's the posture plays a huge role, right? Because you're going to get that so-called upper cross postural syndrome. You're going to get the shoulders are going to be rolling forward. So, so Matt, you see, when they're paddling, their shoulders are in that forward position, right? They're not in anatomical neutral, right? They're not in athlete ready position, so they're losing power going through, right? And we also find that there's reduced thoracic mobility because of that too, right? So they're just trying to power those shoulders through, but they're not in a good position, right? They're not in a stable position where you can produce the most power. Hence, not only are they an injury risk, for overuse injury risk, but more important to them is that performance detriment, right?
100%. Yeah, so when we look at the body with paddling, we're talking about scapular stability, thoracic mobility, hip
Man,
mobility,
look at you.
core strength, hip strength.
I guess you have listened a little bit.
We should, listen, you guys. I have to go home and take notes every day. I mean, this is stuff, we've learned over the years, obviously, but So add that to being in a tippy boat when stability is key, and try and have an efficient movement pattern, transferring a load onto that blade, maintaining your balance, and then generating force through that. Absolutely, it's so important.
Yeah, I think that the layman may not consider how many different dimensions of physical ability it takes to kind of put it all together. And also, totally, that whole posture bit is something that a lot of people really struggle with, and the opportunity to paddle can help you work on that, and that's going to transfer over to life and just having good posture in general.
Yeah, 100%. And like Greg said, we see that with the kids, right? You start cheating that, and that movement pattern's not efficient. Well, guess what? You're going to fatigue a lot faster than the guy that maintains that real solid foundation and good posture. So it's a message we've clearly learned that we try to remind the kids of often.
Yeah.
And they've got to take that away to real life too. Get the phone, sitting at school, sitting at home, everything. It's just a habit.
Especially nowadays.
So, absolutely.
I think the biggest thing for a lot of people is you're not going to have perfect posture 100% of the time, but when you start catching yourself, and then when you start catching yourself every day, then they're starting to get it.
Yeah, and helping each other. That little poke here and there. Hey.
I love that analogy of like the big burly guy just powering, right, the stroke, and sweating, right, and the person in the other canoe or outrigger or kayak, whatever, it's just like going along nice and efficiently and just kicking his ass, right?
Right. Yeah.
And he's like, what?
Yeah,
How
because they
can
can't
that be?
stabilize with that little balance.
Just working so hard and so
Exactly.
inefficiently. I love it.
Yeah, so true.
Anyways, yeah, so I'm super happy that we got to take this chance to have you come out and talk about Calgary Canoe Club, because it is a gem in Calgary. Plus, you have the coolest job, right?
I do have the coolest job, so yeah, that's
Oh my
the
gosh.
challenge out there.
Because you just get in
but-
the kayak, well, in the summer, right? You get in the kayak every morning and just kind of paddle over.
Yeah, I can. I unfortunately live close enough that I can actually paddle across the reservoir to work, or walk, or jog, or ride my bike.
Yeah, right?
and try
Yeah.
and
Run through Weasel
take
Head
an
there around.
opportunity, make it part of my movie every day. So yeah,
Unreal, eh?
good.
Unreal, I know. And then just so many people that are just driving down Glenmore that kind of look at it and go, I've never actually been on the water, or like what a dream it would be to be out there, in the morning. And so the opportunity's there, guys. You just got to go grab it.
Absolutely. Yeah, come down. Lots of activities on the reservoir, whether you want to be sailing or canoeing or kayaking or joining a sport as an adult, just to try something new. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Great spot in the city for sure.
It sure is. And so if people are looking to get more involved, is there some social media routes they can take to find you guys?
Yeah, for us, just hop over to the website, calgarycanoeclub.com, and we're pretty up to date. Instagram is coaches do a really good job on that platform, and we're actually just starting registration next week for our summer day camps. So,
Oh, right on.
yeah.
Nice.
And they're probably
on
going to
top
fill
of
it
that.
fast, eh?
And they do fill up. They'll learn to paddle specifically, and then moving into the sprint day camps as well. So yeah.
Cool.
It is a buzzing place in the summer
It
there.
is, yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah, great place to be.
And you should, like, I don't know if, Matt, if you've been down there, have you?
Oh, yeah.
So, like,
Yeah.
that dock is unreal, right? It's
Yeah.
massive, right?
Yeah.
It just feels like you're just some hot southern equatorial climate, walking on that dock. You're like, oh man, this is
Yeah.
great.
Well, it's kudos to the city. It's a great
Yeah.
facility, a great place for all Calgarians to be, and it's the busiest dock in the city. There's a lot going on right there. I mean, we'd like it to be bigger, so we have to be pretty efficient at working with the other users down there and get everybody on the water. Because I love it. I love seeing everybody out there doing whatever they're doing.
Right. A lot of good attitudes out there, it seems.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, Lynda. We sure appreciate you coming on.
Thanks for having me. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, it's nice to see you again. It's been a little while.
Yeah,
And have so much fun going to Florida.
we will.
And just, you better keep us in the loop when, Fiji and Tahiti and
Sure.
Cook Islands, anywhere in there comes up.
My go-to,
Yeah, you got your
health
go-to
providers
medical
for sure.
team here coming up, right?
Thanks,
Sure.
guys.
Thanks.
All right. And thanks again to all our listeners. We appreciate all the support. See you on the next one.